So you made it to Bethesda Susa. Let's try not to lose our head, alright? Warning, this video contains some spoilers for the main storyline quests. Bethesda Susa has one of the scariest enemies in the game, and a lot of players find themselves getting one-shot here after feeling really strong right through the mid-game. So let's dive in and I'll show you how to beat Bethesda Susa easily and safely. So we're about to go into Bethesda Susa, and we have hit level 21. So you have a couple of options before going into Bethesda Susa for things you might want to get. My top pick is the flamethrower. Now, we picked this up in Bela, just sitting on a table. Usually you're going to have to buy it or find a tinkering recipe. And I'll show a pop-up here of the places you might find this. It's a pretty easy thing to find realistically. And between this and the other item I'm going to recommend, you'll usually find one of them in most games. So besides this one, I would recommend also, or instead of that, finding the spiral borer. So we have the tinkering recipe for it. You can find these to buy, or you can find the recipe at the same places where you can find the flamethrower recipe. It's another mid-tier recipe. It's Tinker 2 required, and just like the flamethrower, it requires a 4-bit is the most expensive component. So either one of these options will allow you to either skip Bethesda Susa in the case of the spiral borer, or cruise through it quite easily in the case of the flamethrower. Of course, we also want to have our force bracelet. This is primarily if you were fighting your way through. There is one enemy in particular that can one-shot us from range. And so we want this to protect us from his axes that are thrown. And the flamethrower does a great job of defeating the environmental problems in his arena and kills him quite quickly. It's the first troll that I'm talking about. Now, if you just have the base weapons, so either you've got a carbine or even your Masterwork scoped chain pistol. Either one of these could be Masterwork and scoped, depending on which one you choose from your Golgotha quest reward. I've recommended going with the chain pistol so that you can disarm laser turrets. We haven't actually gone and done that because we did find the flamethrower so early. But you could absolutely go to any of the nearby ruins and find laser turrets and disarm them using your chain pistol to upgrade. Or you can do this whole Bethesda Susa with a carbine. But the problem with choosing the carbine from Golgotha is that it falls off pretty quickly after Bethesda Susa. Whereas the scoped chain pistol is useful for the rest of the game, specifically for disarming turrets to get really high-end weaponry. So I like to have one of those on hand. Either of those can clear Bethesda Susa on their own, as can any laser weapon. So you can find the basic laser pistol in the asphalt mines where you get oil. So if you didn't have the flamethrower, you could have the laser pistol, or you could have any of those weapons for this. So we're going to also want at least a couple of chem cells replacement for our force bracelet, because we don't want this running out mid-fight. And so one thing we can do is when your current battery is about to run out of power, you recharge one of them in your inventory and switch into it before you ever run out of power, and your shield never drops. So we can recharge these with Tinker 1, and they'll cost 3 bits from 0 or 2 bits from, I'm at 20% on this one. And just from picking up some of the basic Tinker skills like Scavenger and Disassemble, we have 43 bits. So we have at least, call it 13 full recharges on these batteries, which is far more than we'll need. So we will go ahead and recharge both of these. There's a 3-bit from 0%. Recharge both of those so that we're ready. We're going to go into Bethesda Susa, see what we get. And your primary enemy on the first level is going to be these Cragmensch boulderers, and there's a couple different forms of them. They throw rocks, they hit pretty hard, and mainly they have really high armor. There's also some Gershlings here, but they're trivial. So the boulderer is the main issue. If you're worried about them throwing rocks, you can pop your force bracelet. We're not going to need it probably because we're going to use the flamethrower to destroy them quickly. That's the game plan. Let's find out if it works. 3 shots. So the flamethrower replaces another item that people often recommend you take to Bethesda Susa, which is normality, grenades or other forms of normality gas for the twinning lampreys in particular is what that's for. The flamethrower, though, is capable of replacing that because it can hit them, both of the twinning lampreys, at once. And so you don't need normality for this either. So it really is your top pick. Ooh, what was that? Something hit me hard. So we're going to pop the shield. Oh, it was a rock. We're just going to keep an eye on the charge on this. We're at 20%. There goes the boulder. There goes the Gyrewhite. And now we're at 10%. So every 2 turns, it's 10%. And so we can, actually, we're just going to shut this off. But we could have changed that out that turn and still been just fine in terms of keeping the shield up at 100% of the time. So we're just going to pop our force bracelet and let our little helper up here take that slug snout out. You'll notice these Cragmensch are worth quite a lot of experience as well. Okay, so that's first level. I'll also remind you, if you haven't seen the first video in this series, that we have a baseline of 15 cold resistance, which is the minimum you want going into Bethesda Susa. We happen to have plus 10 to all res, which is coming from our Flawless Crysteel Coronet and our Plastifer sneakers. So those were just random finds that we picked up. I think we bought this helmet. So we are over, we have extra resistance, more than we need. That's for sure. You know, other things you might want in Bethesda Susa are some blaze injectors in case you do get frozen. So that will thaw you out. That's a possible option you might want to carry in here. But yeah, let's dive down and I'll show you how we go about this. So starting right next to a cloneling, go ahead and take him out. We do just want to be careful of steam in these areas. and the fact that these boulder throwers can hit us for a huge chunk of damage. So the brainers are melee dudes, and the boulderers are the ones you want to watch out for. They're going to throw rocks at us. And so when he's loading up a rock and getting close, we're going to go ahead and pop that shield. Being very careful of that steam. That does quite a lot of damage if you're not careful. Bit of confusion there. Another boulder, so we pop our shield. Check how much battery's on that. It just ran out, so we'll go ahead and replace it. We did pick up an extra battery, so we've still got one at 100%. Always want to have a backup. Okay, looks like that's cleared out. So what you don't want to do is go straight down those stairs. Down those stairs is the most dangerous enemy in this entire quest line. The one that can one-shot us from range. So I'm going to give you a couple options from here. The first thing we're going to do is make sure we're healthy, and we're going to get some extra HP from our recipe. So we have three options here. I'll show you all three of them. The first option is simply to go to the next tile over. So Bethesda Susa, like all parsangs, is a 3x3 square of screens like this. We're in the center one, and so there are you can get to one in each cardinal direction, and then there's one in the corners as well. So if we go down here, you are now one stratum deep in Bethesda Susa. And the enemies here are going to be very similar to what we just fought. And of course, we didn't find anything in this one, so we can go somewhere else. What you're looking for is just downstairs. And the idea being that ouch, that hurt. The idea being that you were just looking to bypass the main center tile, which is the hardest one all the way down. So if you can just go up and find stairs down somewhere, that will be a very easy solution to bypass it. And then all you have to do is carve your way back into the main chamber using your pickaxe at floor 16, and you can finish your quest. So we didn't find anything there. We can get the pickaxe out right now and just chop through these walls. Right, and so this area now is actually the next area over. So you could go down in this zone as well to floor 16 and then just cut your way back in, for example. So that's probably the easiest way to do it, because just over here off to the side is going to be easier than the Bethesda Susa tiles. So that's your baseline option, I would say, using what I would consider starting gear. All you need is a pickaxe, and you're going to face basic enemies down to level 16 of caves, level difficulty. Very easy. So the second option then is my favorite option, and that's when you find the spiral borer. So what you do is you go down in this corner, you tinker up a spiral borer, and then you use it. So now this goes down 20 floors, and I'm going to pop my force bracelet just in case I got this wrong somehow. But what this did, why I went in this corner, is we're inside the locked room of the boss chamber right now, and so he can't get to us, and we can just go down and bypass this entire fight and essentially every other fight all the way down. And so ultimately that's what we're going to do. But before we do that, I'll show you the hardest of the three options, which is what most new players are going to do the first time they come in here. And so I want to show you what this fight looks like, because it's quite difficult if you don't know what you're doing. And the first thing I'd recommend is making sure that you are keeping very close attention to your shield, that you have it on before you go down, you keep it on the whole time, etc. The best weapon for this is flamethrower, and I'm going to show you why. But you can do it with any ranged weapon, effectively, because the guy we're going against has very little to no armor. He's just a big, strong troll with throwing axes, and so we don't want to get hit by him. We want to stay out of melee range, and the force bracelet completely shuts him down. So let's go ahead and fight him. The assumption here is that if you can beat this enemy, then you can beat every enemy from here on out. This is by far the hardest one. So there he is. He's standing in a pool of convalescence, which will heal him. And this is why the flamethrower is so useful, because it's going to burn that away, so he can't get his healing. Jotun, who parts limbs, is the enemy. And he is going to both spawn small trolls, and he's going to throw axes at us, and kind of charge at us generally as he throws axes. So we're going to burn him down. There's his throwing axe coming in. We'll just check our force bracelets at 35. That was 2 steps. Now it's at 25. 2 steps is at 15, so we're going to replace it. Then we're going to light him on fire a couple of times. And just like that, he's dead. So there's the hardest fight in Bethesda Susa for you. You pick up this bronze key and you walk over to the other side of the room and unlock the door and go down to the next fight. And you have 2 more of these trolls that you can fight. Each of them is, well, the next one's extremely easy. And the third one is invisible. So, you know what? I'm just going to show these fights because new players may find them useful. Now, we don't need our force bracelet probably for this one, but I'm going to recharge one just in case. And down we go. So this guy, we can see him. He's going to walk up to us and try to attack us. He can hit us with spider webs, But there you go. Just that easy. Go pick up the key. These keys are worth some money, so it's not like I'm completely foolish for doing this. I'm actually getting a little something from it. Now, this one is invisible. So he's standing over here somewhere in the pool, and he's going to walk towards us while summoning trolls. And he hits only in melee range, but he has a special hand weapon which does special damage and knocks us back, I think. It's been a while since I've fought him. So the trick here is to just watch for footsteps. So you can see over there he's walking around. There, we hit something, and he's on fire about right there. So we'll go ahead and pop on our force bracelet, and we'll just keep shooting there. There you go. Just that easy. So again, flamethrower makes this easier than it would be otherwise. If you do not have flamethrower for this fight, you look at these little drops of convalescence to see where he's stepping. And you can probably, the easiest way to do it is you can hit him with grenades. You could use the high explosive Mark IIs are really effective. You can use corrosion grenades, things of that nature. You can use any kind of machine guns, chain guns, etc. Just kind of spray into the region. Those are kind of your general ways to do it. The other way to do it, and the way I actually prefer to do this fight when I don't have a flamethrower, is to sprint over here using force bracelet, possibly going invisible, or phasing out rather, getting my games mixed up, with shade oil. So you basically sprint across the bottom here, ignoring the enemy, and then phase right through this wall. And you can skip the fight. Easy peasy. So that's my preferred way to do that fight. But there you go. Those are all 3 trolls. Obviously, I beat them in the easiest way possible. But I've given you a couple of different options for how to fight them. And again, the first one is the hardest one, the most dangerous anyway. And you get to see what he does. He stands in place and throws one-shot axes at you. And the third one is the other really dangerous one, just because he's invisible, and I recommend sprinting across the room and phasing through this wall to get into the end chamber. So at this point, we're going to check our chem cells, make sure they're ready to go, give this one another recharge, and we're just going to dive using our spiral borer path. We're going to take that out because that's a bit scary. What is this? Norm? Oh, normalization. Okay. Not a big deal. Though it does mean that our force bracelet would not work against it. Just diving. Just diving. Go ahead and get him dead, maybe. What did he have? Yeah, floating glow sphere is worth some money. Keep diving. Okay, we're confused still. I dove another level while confused. just wait a couple turns. There we go. So this is level 14. Which is where the cryo barriers are. So that's a bit scary that they're open. Actually, I'm realizing we want to go back up one level to 13 to the cybernetics ward. So here's twinning lampreys. We'll blast them all at once. And the reason we want to go in here, obviously, is free cybernetics. Nice. Come around the corner, find your set. 2 sets of 3-cent cybernetic wedges. See what we get. Beautiful Visage is extremely good. The 2 ego. Do we actually get that? No. Go ahead and grab those. So you get 4 sets of cybernetics here. So it's just free loot. Watch out for the Craigmensch. Keep your force bracelet charged up. Five croc corpses for a weapon, a gun. That's doable. Okay, that's a bit of a bummer. We got nothing good from any of those. Got some money out of it, of course, but nothing we wanted. Bit of a bummer. Anyway, down we go. Here we are down into Temple of the Rock, level 16. So everybody's friendly to us here, given that we have Mechamist reputation above 250. We are sure to get that before coming here. There is one enemy in here which is going to fight us, but it's not a big deal. It's not a dangerous one, so we'll deal with that when we come across it. Just auto-explore. There's a bunch of loot to find here. I think this is the guy we want to... Oh no, that's just the priest. So we might as well do this. There's the guy we want to talk to. At least do the water ritual with him, probably. And feed him some more secrets to get some reputation up. with the idea being that we are going to learn proselytize. So we'll go ahead and do that because minus 300 is still above 250. So we'll do it. We could have also asked him to join us, but I prefer, well, he's fine, I guess, but we're going to get the other one at the 6-day still at some point to join us. There's our enemy. He can confuse us, which is a bit of a problem. I should have put my shield up. Luckily, he can't do much damage to us. And our allies here will kill him for us while we're confused. So that was easy. And we'll continue exploring. But in essence, that is Bethesda Susa. So at this point, you are safe to recoiler out of here, having completed the mission by interacting with the Spadal. Easy as that. And you got to see a little bit of fighting on a couple of the floors. We saw the twinning lampreys, which are easily handled by area of effect weaponry, like the flamethrower. You can also use those plastifer, or whatever they're called, the yellow and blue orb things. When they break, they release normality gas. So, as chance would have it, if we had fought in that area without the flamethrower, we would have beat the twinning lampreys all the same, because that normality gas cancels out their twinning effect. And the other main enemy really are the Kriegsmensch. So if you can get past high armor enemies, this is a walk in the park. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Stay tuned for the next episodes in the series and subscribe to be notified for them. Good luck out there.